Hey guys, after they nerfed the carry horse Hecarim, I was searching for someone I felt more comfortable picking other than Shaco, of course. And I think I found a new carry lord. Graves, that is. Let's start off the guide. Why Graves, you're probably asking yourself? Well, I'm not quite sure myself, but I feel like his amazing burst and AoE in teamfight are enough to make up for his bad early ganks, even though if set up right, still okay with his Q burst. Also, in my opinion, Ghost makes him a lot better. You could argue that you can make some flashy plays with Flash, but I feel like with Ghost you're just consistently better and I like that more. But that's for you to decide. And now let's start off with the jungle path because people like it when I put that in. We're gonna be starting off with RQ and on bot side pretty much every time. If there's not someone top lane you really want to gank. If that's not the case, just do a normal clear. Skill your E second. A little tip when fighting the red buff, you can kite him to the side wall and then dash over so it doesn't hit you. I'm only mentioning red buff because blue is so slow that you can just constantly kite him without taking any damage, which is pretty damn sweet. So after red you can either decide to go for a blue buff, a little early gank, or just a complete clear. Most of the time I actually do the full clear. For that you could skill your Q again so you can clear faster. I kinda do the 75% of the time, but if there's a good opportunity you can swing by on that lane. You want to be looking for laners who kinda have CC or something that helps you to gank, because at the beginning you don't really have enough to burst down the laner that easily. And laners with dash, flash and so on can easily get away from you. Before we move over to the item build, let's talk about team fighting. You kinda gotta think of him like a more burst heavy AD carry. I feel like you still gotta kite and not just stand in their face, but if you're fat you can be all up in their face and AoE the shit out of them. If you hit a Q and you ult on a lot of people, the team fight is pretty much donezo. Other than that, try to put your smoke screen on the backline and stand behind your tank. Something you have to remember is that you can only hit what's in front of you. Especially when tower diving, it's important to remember. It's pretty damn frustrating if the laner jukes you around the tower and you end up dying. The best solution for this is to get so fat that you can just one-shot them with your ult. Now let's move over to the item build. The start is pretty basic, of course. You start off with a Hunter's Mechati and a refillable potion. After your first bag you want to be getting either Red Smite or Claw Fields. I like to get Claw Fields, but that's again preference. After that I usually finish warriors. I like to take red for more burst, but blue works too if you want to kite them easier. But for that I take Ghost and also the next item, Humos. A lot of people like to buy Phantom Dancer at this point, but I feel like the burst from Humos is way more reliable. For shoes I normally go for Berserker Greaves. Only if the enemies have a lot of movement abilities, dashes and so on, I go for Mobi Boots. After Humos I get myself a Duskblade of Traktar. When you got this, you're already a pretty amazing kite burst carry lord because you got so much movement speed and raw burst. Now you can decide to either buy something situational like Asterix or Morph Moditus when the enemy have either a lot of AD or AP, or you could go for Phantom Dancer for some more burst and shot speed, or for Death Dance for some lifesteal and defense. It's quite amazing how big the chunks of life are that you heal with that item because you only have 2 shots, 3 with your E. Other situational items are Lord Dominic's for tank shredding or Rapid Fire Cannon for some more range in fights and catching off people, I guess. For the runes I take attack damage marks, armor seals, 3 scaling cooldown and 6 flat cooldown glyphs. From that you get 10% exactly in the late game. For quintessences I take 3 attack speed. Before moving to the masteries, as I've already mentioned, I take Ghost and Smite. You can take Flash if you feel better with it, but just try out Ghost for once and tell me how it went. After you kinda get used to it, it feels really smooth and amazing when chasing. Now for the masteries, I went with Strength of the Ages. I've tried Thunderlords and also Storm Raiders. Feels nice to burst on enemies or get them faster with Storm Raiders, but I feel like they're both not consistent enough. And this gives them a little nice tanky touch, I would say. In Ferocity, I went for Bounty Hunter, because you don't really have CC on Graves. My last tip would be to predict your Q and not just to shoot it directly where the enemy is moving, because that second part, the backlash, takes some time and that one is the one that deals the most damage. Also don't use your E as an engage. If you're not 100% sure, you're just going to burst them down. Not only can you just use it to get out of a fight or dodge something, you also get another bullet, and one bullet is a lot for Graves. Okay, so if you have more questions about Graves that I haven't answered in this guide, write them in the comments below. And of course, also just random questions, video ideas are always appreciated. My Twitch stream is in the description if anybody is interested in seeing me live. Other than that, I hope you're having an amazing day. See ya. Better, you could fuck. When you got this, you're already pretty. When you got this, you are already for sure. Now let's. Now we're gonna. God damn it! That's the end of the sentence. And a little tip when kiting is, you can kite the red buff to the side. No wait, that's too much kite in one sentence. That lane you want. Ugh, fuck. Da hab ich einen Punkt vergessen. I hope you're having an amazing day. Nice. God damn it.